All right, let's talk about one of the weirdest and most important stories coming out of this whole AI explosion. It's a story that involves, believe it or not, high-tech toilets, gold, and a wild global scramble that's crowning some very unexpected kings in the tech world. So it really all boils down to this one kind of bizarre question. What in the world does a company famous for its fancy Japanese toilets have to do with the future of AI? Well, the answer pulls back the curtain on this hidden bottleneck that is no joke shaking the entire tech industry to its core. So you look at their stock chart, and TOTO's stock just skyrockets. And you'd think, wow, people must be really into smart toilets right now. But nope, that's not it at all. The real reason? It's a part of their business most people don't even know exists. A hidden product that chip manufacturers are absolutely desperate for. So what is this thing? It's called a ceramic electrostatic chuck. Sounds complicated, but its job is simple and absolutely critical. It holds those big silicon wafers perfectly still while the chips are being made. It's a super precise task. And TOTO? Well, they make the purest one in the world. And get this, they are so in demand, you can't even get one until 2027. They're booked solid. Look, TOTO's wild story, it's really just a clue. It's pointing to something way bigger. Because at the heart of all this chaos is one specific type of computer memory, a memory chip that has somehow become one of the most valuable things on Earth. And when I say valuable, I mean the profits are just mind-blowing. We're talking about numbers that don't even seem real. By late 2025, just two companies, Samsung and SK Hynix, are projected to be pulling in a combined profit of almost $300 million. Not a year, not a month, every single day. And it's all because of this crazy demand for memory. So what's the magic ingredient here? It's something called HBM, which stands for high bandwidth memory. The easiest way to picture it is like a skyscraper, but instead of floors, it's memory chips stacked one on top of the other. And that vertical design, it's the secret sauce that lets AI processors like GPUs access data at just unbelievable speeds. It's totally essential. Okay, so you want to talk value? Let's put this into perspective. A single HBM chip about the size of your fingernail can sell for $400 or $500. You know what that means? It means it's worth more than its weight in solid gold. I'm not kidding. We're talking about a piece of silicon that is literally more precious than gold right now. And look, it's not just this fancy high-end HBM stuff. The price explosion is hitting everything. Take a look at the older, more common types of memory, like DDR4. Between 2024 and 2025, prices are expected to jump by an insane 1,800%. This isn't just a price hike, it's a full-on market panic. So how did we get here? Well, it's because this mad dash to make HBM for AI is having a huge knock-on effect. It's basically creating a massive global shortage of all other kinds of memory. They call it the cannibalization effect. Let me break it down for you. It's pretty simple, actually. Step one, the big AI companies, your Googles, your Microsofts, they demand a ton of HBM. Step two, the factories, seeing where the big money is, pivot all their production lines to making HBM. But here's the kicker, and this is the most important part. Making HBM is really inefficient. So what happens? The production of regular memory, the stuff in your phone, your laptop, your car, it gets squeezed. And boom, suddenly there's a global shortage. Just how inefficient are we talking? Well, a marketing manager from Samsung put it pretty clearly. She said if you take one of those big silicon wafers, you can get a certain amount of normal memory out of it. But if you use that same wafer to make HBM, you only get about a third of the output. You're losing 2/3 of your potential volume just to make this one specialized kind of chip. And this whole situation has led to something people are calling the memory Parkinson's law. You know this idea that work expands to fill the time available? Well, here, AI models expand to fill the memory available. No matter how much HBM the factories churn out, the AI developers just immediately create even bigger models that use it all up. It's a cycle that basically guarantees that memory is always going to be the thing holding everything back. So what's the fallout from all this? This massive supply squeeze is basically redrawing the map of the tech world. It's creating a clear divide. You have the winners, who are just feasting right now, making unbelievable profits. And then you have the losers, who are stuck in a kind of supply famine. And when you look at who's making this stuff, you realize just how concentrated the market is. It's not dozens of companies, it's just 3. That's it. 3 companies control the entire global supply of HBM. SK Hynix is the big one with a whopping 60% of the market, and then Samsung and Micron split what's left. When you have a situation like that, they can basically charge whatever they want. So you've got these two different worlds. In one corner, enjoying the feast, you've got the memory makers themselves, of course, plus the AI chip designers like NVIDIA and the big cloud companies, Microsoft, Google, Amazon. They have deep pockets and they'll pay anything. But in the other corner, starving in the famine, is pretty much everyone else. PC makers like Dell and HP, phone companies, car manufacturers, they're all getting squeezed hard. And the pain they're feeling is real. You've got guys like Jeff Clark, the COO of Dell, saying flat out, "I've never seen costs escalate this quickly." Think about what that means. These companies are now stuck. They either have to jack up their prices for you and me, or they have to start thinking about shipping new laptops and phones with less memory inside. It's a terrible choice. But while Dell is panicking, what about the cloud giants? They couldn't care less. They're totally unfazed. That same Samsung manager, Candace Hu, explains it perfectly. She says they are extremely price insensitive. For them, the narrative, their stock price, their whole future is tied to AI. So the cost of the memory, it's just a rounding error. Getting their hands on it is all that matters. Okay, so anyone who's followed the tech industry for a while knows that the memory market is famous for one thing, these insane boom and bust cycles. Prices shoot to the moon, and then they crash back to Earth. So the billion-dollar question everyone is asking is this time actually different? Or are we just setting ourselves up for the mother of all crashes? I mean, just look at the history. It's a pattern that repeats over and over again. The PC boom in the 90s, boom, then bust. The smartphone boom around 2010, boom, then bust. Even the first cloud boom in 2017 and the pandemic boom in 2020, same story. Every single time, supply eventually catches up and then overshoots demand, and prices just crater. It's been the iron law of this market for like 40 years. But there's a growing camp, especially on Wall Street, that's saying, nope, the old rules are broken. The argument, like this one from Rob Lai, is that AI isn't just another boom. It's a fundamental change. It's turned memory from a cyclical up and down business into a structural growth business. In other words, the demand isn't going to go away. It's just going to keep going up and up and up. But you want to see how nervous the market really is? How fragile this whole thing is? Get this. A single research paper from Google, and it wasn't even new, it was a year old, it talked about an algorithm that could save on memory usage. That's it. And just the mention of this paper was enough to cause a huge market panic. Billions of dollars were wiped off the value of these memory stocks in an instant. It just goes to show you even a tiny, theoretical hint that demand might drop is enough to send everyone running for the exits. All right, so let's pull all this together. What's the big picture here? What have we really learned? I think it's pretty clear. We're watching a fundamental power shift happening in the tech industry in real time. A new set of kings is being crowned. So, here are the key things to remember. First, AI has created this bottomless pit of demand for memory. It just seems insatiable. Second, making that high-end HBM memory is cannibalizing or strangling the supply of all the normal memory we need for everything else. Third, this whole situation has triggered a massive shortage, and it looks like it's going to last until at least 2027. And finally, all of this has put a shocking amount of power and pricing power into the hands of just a few companies. And all of that leaves us with one final, really big question to think about. In this new age of AI, who holds the real power? Is it the companies with the brilliant ideas, the ones designing the incredible algorithms like Google and OpenAI? Or is the real power held by the handful of companies that control the physical stuff, the memory, that all of those brilliant ideas need to even run? The answer to that question, well, that's probably going to define the next decade in tech.